Hello, welcome to this Math 125 calculator tutorial. We will be looking at the TI-30XS MultiView Calculator, and we are specifically interested in this video in doing a one-variable analysis. So that would just mean we want to compute these measures of center, these measures of spread, and then also a 5-number summary. The first thing we will need to know how to do is we're going to need to know how to enter data into the calculator. So I'll put the data over here on the left. I'll bring my calculator up here on the right. And in order to input data in the calculator, you should have a data button right here. So I'm just going to click on this. And right now I have data that's already been entered. If you hit data again, then you have the option to clear the lists where you have been working. So I'm going to hit enter to clear L1. I'm going to hit data again. I'm going to go down to clear L2. Now I can move over and I can start typing in data in this empty list. So it's just a one-variable data set. We're only going to have one list. I can start typing in my numbers: 35, 70, 31, 37, 65, 38, 38, 44, 43, 43, 68. Okay, if you did want to go examine any of the data that you've typed in, you can use the arrow keys to do that. Once you've typed in all of your data, you want to hit the Stat button. That's this green button right above the data. So you're going to have to hit second and then data. So that'll get you into the stat mode. And we can either do a one-variable analysis or a two-variable analysis. In this video, we are interested in a one-variable analysis. Once you hit enter, then you can select where your data is coming from. If you are using multiple lists, you could analyze any one of the lists that you've entered. I'm going to be analyzing L1. Sometimes our data would have frequencies. If you have typed in all of your data like I just did, the frequency of each item you've typed in is 1, so you can hit enter again. If, however, each of your data values that you typed in occurred multiple times, let's say that you were gathering data from a frequency distribution, you could type in the frequencies in your second list and then proceed accordingly. But in this example, it's just I just typed in each of the items one time. I'm now going to hit calculate, and we see a number of things. So n is the number of items that we've typed in. X bar is your mean. So our mean we see is going to be 46.55. The median we will find later on in the list. The next item you see that the calculator gives you is Sx. This is your sample standard deviation. So Sx would be equal to 14.12. If you go down again, you will see sigma x, which would be the population standard deviation. This would be 13.47. Right? I said the word, but let me write it down. This is a population versus a sample. These are never both correct. Depending on the context of the problem, you will either be computing a sample standard deviation or a population standard deviation. In Math 125, most of the data we look at, we assume that it's a sample. And if that's the case, then our standard deviation would be 14.12. If the problem told us that this is all of the data for an entire population, of course we would use the population standard deviation instead. Moving down the list, there are some items that the calculator computes that would be useful for some classes, but not necessarily for Math 125. The sum of x, so capital sigma x, just adds together all of the x values. The sum of x squareds squares each of these values and then adds the results together. We're not interested in that. Then we get to the 5-number summary. So the 5-number summary, they tell us that the minimum value in my list was 31, which I could verify by just going up and reading through my list. If we go down, the first quartile was 37. The second quartile, which is the same thing as the median, is 43, so I can write that number down twice. And then the third quartile is 65. Continuing down, we see the maximum value was 70, which we could have also found just by scanning through that list. Now that's all that the calculator computes for us. We might have to answer questions beyond what the calculator computes. The range is always going to be the maximum value minus the minimum value, but since we've just computed both of those either by inspection or from the calculator, we can simply subtract those. So 70 minus 31. Let me hit the clear button on my calculator. 70 minus 31. I see that my range was 39. The mode is the most frequently occurring value as long as values occur more than one time. So we're going to have to compute this by inspection. When I was going through this, I noticed that 38 got typed in twice. I also noticed that 43 got typed in twice. I don't believe that any of the other values occurred more than one time. So our data is bimodal. We have 38 as well as 43. Alright, that finishes the content I wanted to cover in this video. If you don't have a MultiView calculator, but instead have a basic scientific calculator like this one, I will go through this same problem in a follow-up video that I will link in the description.